You find yourself in cold, suffocating darkness. There is a familiar weight in your hand. A lantern. It sputters to life, and the world shifts into focus. A staircase spirals endlessly below you. With nowhere else to go, you start down. A wave of blistering heat hits you. Then a sea salt wind. Divine voices boom and screech. Their words shake the platform beneath you, shake the very air around you. The gods are fighting.
Lay your blame elsewhere, Wodika. I won't suffer your arguments any longer.
Magrin looms large before you, an accusing finger leveled at the melted visage of Wodika. Wodika screws her mouth into a sneer.
You fool! If only we had attacked him when I first proposed it.
Accusations drip bitter as bile from her tongue.
You have found us engaged in a spirited discussion.
The pallid knight looks down at you, a frown etched deep in her otherwise statue-still features.
I am afraid we are not at our best.
The Watcher's returned. Perhaps we should hear what he has to say.
Helia's birds chatter anxiously among themselves. Wal's many eyes alight on each god in turn.
We make little enough progress on our own.
We try, but agreement eludes us.
Andra's storm-dark eyes swivel to meet yours.
Is there nothing we can do?
Magrin glances at the pallid knight from the corner of her eye. After a thoughtful pause, she speaks.
The time has come for us to seize the power we have long left untouched, and absorb our scattered children.
Andra nods, her lure bobbing bright.
Terrible though it would be, perhaps you are right.
I did, and I was scolded like a child for my terrible audacity.
A curl of steam rises from her nose. The pallid knight looks on, impassive.
Should we be killed, we may possess the bodies of our godlike children. Or should we face a force too powerful to stand against, we can absorb their souls, granting us additional strength. Yes, thousands of their lives would be forfeit to serve the greater good.
The pallid knight speaks with the chilly temperance possessed only by the god of death.
We are your gods, forged of thousands upon thousands of willing souls sacrificed on the altar of progress. Yes, our good is greater, but the time for that plan has long passed us by.
Are we to keep nothing for ourselves? Not a single secret retained? Not a solitary mystery?
Magrin elbows one of Wal's floating eyes away.
Aethys will lay bare our every secret soon enough. What is one or two revealed now? But we get ahead of ourselves. First, the Watcher must get to Ukaizo, and that will be a trial all its own.
The Guardian of Ukaizo has stood watch over that place for millennia. It will not stand aside, not even for Bareth's herald.
Helia, who had been lost in quiet, anxious conversation with her birds, breaks in.
It yet lives.
Of course. Our progenitors crafted it.
A pair of Helia's finches come to join WoW's floating eye. They hover just out of Mogren's reach and swoop in to poke her when she's not looking.
And the Watcher will be forced to reckon with it if he wishes to confront Aethys.
The birds at last linger too long, and Mogren slaps them away. They burst into a cloud of essence, then reform, and fly in a screeching chorus back to Helia.
A creature crafted by the Ingwithans to protect the machinery of reincarnation. It doesn't care much for visitors.
Will you divulge our every secret to the Kith, Mogren?
Mogren shrugs.
If it suits me.
Go prepared, Watcher. The Guardian will not stand aside, not even for the Herald of Bareth. It is its own creature, Watcher. It does not listen to us.
There is another topic we have yet to address.
The Pallid Knight holds up one gauntleted hand, and the other gods fall silent.
Tell me, Watcher, where do you stand? What do you think of Aethys' scheme to destroy the wheel?
The Pallid Knight spreads wide her hands.
Think of the Beyond as a reservoir, the in-between as storm clouds, and souls as rain. When a living thing dies, its soul enters the in-between. And when the in-between grows full, it releases souls into the Beyond, where they wait to be redistributed to new bodies, new lives. The wheel is the process by which souls are moved from the in-between to the Beyond, from the rain cloud to the reservoir, and from the reservoir into the living world. Without the wheel to mediate the transfer and redistribution of souls, the souls of all who die remain in the in-between. And without souls to fill it, the Beyond gradually empties, trapping all of the remaining souls in existence in the in-between. When the Beyond is empty and the last creature on Eora dies, that is the end of everything. It is Rimergon's future, the one he wants for us. Soul essence sustains us. We feed off it, off the little fragments you mortal kith shed like snakeskin as you pass into your next life. Without sustenance, we starve as any mortal might. We die and leave a great silence behind, an eternal emptiness from which nothing is born. I am certain Rimergon would appreciate your company.
Tell us, Watcher, where do you stand?
Perhaps you misunderstand. This is not a test you will overcome on your own. Aethys intends to change the fundamental structure of life and death. Does that not frighten you? You, Kith, who are most vulnerable?
Aethys loves the mortals more than any of us. He has always been their greatest champion. He believes Kith will rise to his challenge. I am not so sure, but I look forward to watching them try. He found our blind spot and exploited it admirably. By the time we even had a hint of what it was he intended, it was already too late to stop him.
If we still had our bodies, we could oppose him.
Wotica balls her bony hands into fists and glares long at Andra.
Do not lay your blame on me. We set them aside after I killed Abaddon, it is true, but you did not fight the decision then.
She turns her back on Wotica then, and looks instead to the Pallid Knight.
What if Aethys is right, and Kith succeed in rebuilding the wheel? What then?
Wal grins.
Always, Watcher.
And what if they fail? Then they die. And so do we. We have to help them.
Helia's voice rises, near to panic. Wotica drives her fist into her hand.
Help them! We should finally bring them to heel!
The Pallid Knight raises a hand and stares at Wotica until she falls silent.
Watcher, Aothis yet values your counsel.
The Pallid Knight's eyes bore into yours.
An impassioned plea from the Hound of Aothis may still temper his actions. Confront him at Ukaizo. Only your life.
A faint smile plays at the corner of the Pallid Knight's lips.
Time moves swiftly away from us now.
The Pallid Knight spreads her hands before her.
Go, Watcher. Do what you must.
The edges of your vision begin to dim. Like a sun setting, twilight encroaches on your mind.
You will not fail.
The Pallid Knight conjures a blinding white light in her palm that swiftly grows to engulf the room. Then, the crack of thunder rends the air, and you feel the floor drop out beneath you. You come to flat on your back, staring at an all-too-familiar ceiling. Alone.
A moment of your time, Watcher, if you will. Apologies. I thought you would want to know about the crate that mysteriously appeared in your ship's hold. But if you're otherwise engaged, please do not be distracted by such trivialities. The hand left the crate in the hold if you wish to examine it.
Happily. Absolutely.
A moment of your time, Watcher, if you will. Some of the hands discovered an unusual crate in the ship's hold. It is roughly a yard to a side and labeled beans. The hands who noticed it were tasked by the cook to bring up ingredients for the evening's stew. Unfortunately, the ship lacks the defensive fortifications of Cadnua. A crate could have been slipped aboard at any of our ports of call, assuming it wasn't placed among our goods as we took on supplies. The hand left the crate in the hold if you wish to examine it.
What is it, Casita?
Yeah? Tell me what's on your mind. You know where to find me if you want to talk.
I joined crew.
Greetings again,
Now,
Captain. Do you require my...
Is there something you wanted to talk about? You only have to ask.
Let's get a move on.
Lash Esegan Kikiwa. Ask, please. Who? Her bird is mean. You see where he bit me? I like him. She reminds me of my old teacher. Do you think she would spar with me? But maybe I have enough scars. Who? Fine, yes. Ta. Ungu.
You look like you have something on your mind. Hey, look who it is.
I can still feel those vines under my skin. But that will pass. Thank you.
Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
Captain, a delight as usual.
Ukaizo. We are actually going to Ukaizo. The tribes will look to me to bridge our past and our future. A heavy responsibility, I say. And what do I want? The praise they showered on Ngati's chosen. Until now, it all seemed an empty gesture. Never a promise that I could fulfill. And I am no one's savior. It is not for an artist to save the tribes, I say. To work miracles. I want the tribes to grow on their own. My people deserve better than the promises of a handsome fish and his goddess mother. Ukaizo will show us the way. the tribes will find themselves again. I would discover what our ancestors forgot. The Covenant is more important than ever. I will give it thought. There is time enough for that, at least. Ukaizo should be the discovery of our lifetime. With the trading companies and the Principe ready to descend on each other, I wish the island had kept its secrets a while longer.
It pains me to see my boy so conflicted. Questions tear at his heart, and the ache reaches me even here. He so longs for his independence, but his people will not relinquish his destiny without a fight. Empires have fallen since I favored the Huana with power and wisdom. How they wield it is their choice. Just see that my boy comes to no harm.
There is much to consider, and little time to decide our course. I fear that we will see the path before us before we are ready to walk it.
Agrasima, Casita, for taking me on.
When I was a little boy, so my mother told me, way haul away, we'll haul away and go. And if I did not kiss a girl, my lips would all grow moldy. Way haul away, we'll haul away and go. Tommy, way haul away, the good ship now is rolling. Way haul away, we'll haul away and go. Old Gaffin held the inwards crown before the revolution. Way haul away, we'll haul away.
I've been loyal to you a long time, Ferrante, but I cannot abide this.
Over here, my friend.
Diverus, is it settled now? I do not like having my hand forced by some rogue god.
Indeed, the vote has been cast. There can be no dispute. The trader Aldis will have.
Your vote of confidence is appreciated, my Consuelo. Rest assured, you have made the right decision.
The Black Pox seas we have? What a fucking farce! Mark my words, Councilman. Your souls will be damned for this scheme.
Do not forget your promise, Ferrante. With Eldis out of the way, you will sail us to Ukaizo, well before the Huana, the Valen Trading Company, or any others can plunder it.
The god will lead us there, and the floating hangman will navigate the storms. Watcher, your timing is impeccable as always. We have just concluded a vote of phenomenal importance.
Blast this! You can outvote me, but you can't make me stay and watch.
One of our Consuelo members, Captain Aldis, has been charged and found guilty of those crimes, punishable by death. Defiance. On several past occasions, Aldis has willfully dismissed the mandates of the Consuelo. Oh, there is more. Negligence. Too often, Aldis has outright neglected her responsibilities to the Consuelo. When a meeting is called, the presence of all members is required. Excessive cruelty. Aldis and her new bloods often commit extreme violence in pursuit of financial gain. This drives our foes to take harsher measures against us. Sedition, which you witnessed firsthand when Aldis negotiated with our enemies without the consent of the Consuelo. She has single-handedly endeavored to spark a civil war within the Principe on multiple occasions. And, worst of all, betrayal. Aldis sacrificed an entire crew of Principe in an ill-fated attempt to lure out the floating hangman so that she might captain it. This Consuelo session is now concluded. Watcher, might I have a word with you in confidence? What happened at Magran's teeth changes everything. We must acquire the floating hangman if we've any hope to reach Ukaizo before Eothas destroys everything. Which brings me to my current problem. Somehow, Aldis has uncovered a means to summon the floating hangman, but she is hunkered within her stronghold of Fort Deadlight. Myself and the others of the Consuelo must lay siege to get to her. However, you have a means of entry to the fortress. I need what she knows before I can hang her. Obtain it for me, and I will grant you her seat on the Consuelo. Sail to Fort Deadlight, and seize the answers which Aldis has secreted for her own gain. Did you meet with Aldis at Deadlight? And, more importantly, is she still breathing? You know what I'm hoping for. To me? And you came to tell me, to my face, that you will now be backing my political foes. I cannot decide if that makes you brave or unbelievably foolish, my disloyal Casita. Did you meet with Aldis at You know what I'm...
Leave it to the new bloods to betray each other.
Are you ready to meet? Right this way, Captain.
Ah, Captain. Beholding you never ceases to be a wonder. I only wish we met under more pleasurable circumstances. You wanted to speak with me? Well, consider me a captive audience. But necessary. Do you disapprove of my tactics? The storms would be problematic for sure, if I didn't already have a plan to take command of the floating hangman so as to utterly quell them. We'll sail on through easy as you please. But first, I have a bit of research to hunt down. Last bit of the puzzle, if you will. I'll let you know when it's all set, Lovesome. I haven't the faintest idea as to what you could mean, Lovesome. You're not buying it, eh? Guess it was only a matter of time. I knew the spies I strung up by their guts couldn't have been the only ones. They were just the poor squabs who got caught. Only a fool would trust a deal with Ferrante. How do you think he got to be the head of the Council of Captains? By making his sailors love him? By playing fair? No. It was by beating his enemies in the most gut-churning of ways. That's how you keep new ones from wanting to try you. Ferrante covets the floating hangman in order to enforce his control of the Principe, not to protect us from our outside enemies, nor to beat your rampaging god to Ukaizo. But I'm 2 leagues ahead of Ferrante. I know how to summon and command the floating hangman. Of course, I destroyed the information as soon as I uncovered Ferrante's spies. You'll never learn it without me. You're right. I do want to trust you. But if we're to help each other, there is one thing I want from you in return for the floating hangman. That cockrot Ferrante needs to go. Hang him, gut him, I don't care. But get rid of him. Alright? I don't see how. Unless Ferrante could be shown to be a traitor to the Principe. I'll sail to Dunwich and take command of the Principe as soon as Ferrante is gone.
Did you meet with Aldis at Deadlight? And, more importantly, is she still breathing? You know what I'm hoping for.
You must gather your party.